Have you ever referred a friend to Lyft or Uber and gotten $10 in credit or whatever it is? Have you ever used any affiliate program like that? You know, some people love that stuff and a lot of people hate it. You know, if I ever do that, well, in fact, if you visit coloringcrypto.com/sponsors, use our affiliate links to support us. But, oftentimes in your personal life, it can feel sort of salesy, somehow the affiliate model seems sort of broken. If you love a product, if you really love it, wouldn't you just tell your friends to use it and not need some kind of commission kickback? And on the other hand, if you love a product, why wouldn't you want to support them getting more customers and be more successful and be a part of their success? Affiliate model seems somehow broken or not fully maximized or realized. Today's guest brings in the topic of authenticity and how important that is to that model. Joshua Renfro of Tribecoin.com, was instrumental at Lyft in designing their affiliate model or ambassador or evangelist model. But before we bring on Joshua, we're going to talk about the latest news and happenings in crypto. And to do that, we're going to use a source called The Bit. It's an awesome newsletter. We're going to have the co-founder Erica on an episode very soon. So let's bring on Dan, the producer here at Coloring Crypto, and let's talk about the news from The Bit. The Bit is a great thing to subscribe to if you want to stay tuned in on what's new with crypto. I've got thebitdaily.com open right now. I'm checking it out. I've got our producer Dan on the line. Dan, did you see anything in the news on The Bit that piqued your interest?
Yeah, so last week they had put something, it was May 2nd, and they had a hodl the Bitcoin. And it looks like Oscar Mayer made a promotional cryptocurrency called Bitcoin.
I saw that.
It's like a really bad play on bacon.
How do you
Bitcoin?
How do you say that? Bitcoin?
Bitcoin? I feel like say it with a southern accent, like bacon.
I mean, it's
it
funny.
Almost sounds like bacon.
It's funny. I think it's really smart of these companies, even if they're just kidding around, which it sounds like they are, because it sounds like you can actually use Bitcoin or Bitcoin to buy Oscar Mayer products, but it's not a real cryptocurrency. But I think it's really smart of these companies that are so kind of like corporate and mainstream to just do something even marketing wise in the Bitcoin space. And then the question is, how many people will actually try and buy this?
And as it says, on this article, is that it brings familiarity to public, right? And it may be poking fun, but they're doing something that is promoting the visibility of cryptocurrency as a whole.
What did you think of this whole? So the May 4th is an article on Telegram says screw the public, bye ICO. They were able to raise their own enough money in their private fundraising from like 200 people. Did you have any impression of that decision by Telegram?
I'm wondering if that's the way that things are going, right? For ICOs. It's going to be interesting to see where things go forward from here, because Telegram was all gung-ho. They raised like over $1 billion and they got an overwhelming amount of support. And then just to be like, nah, never mind. Here you go, everyone. We'll just go with a small group of investors. I think it's very interesting that they went traditional like that.
Yeah, especially with all the SEC stuff. And we have an upcoming guest in 3 weeks. We've got a killer or really clear, knowledgeable lawyer going to come in and talk to us about the SEC regulations in the crypto space. But yeah, I mean, I love The Bit. They got this Telegram article in The Bit. It puts it like in the context of, Snapchat's IPO with 158 million users. So just really good insight. So looking forward to having Erica on. And I think you and I can kind of keep using The Bit as a starting point for kind of keeping us current and adding some context to the Coloring Crypto podcast. So folks who want to subscribe, go to thebitdaily.com and we'll have Erica on in a very soon episode.
Hey, this is Joshua.
Hey, Joshua. Welcome to Coloring Crypto. The first question I'd like to start with is tell us the story of when you first heard about cryptocurrencies or the blockchain or Bitcoin, and then kind of your discovery of this could be something that you would really dive into.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Gabriel, for having me on the show. Interestingly, I kind of dreamt this whole concept before I even found out what crypto was. So when I was a senior in college, that was 2011 or
Okay.
2012, perhaps, I came up with this concept called karma dollars. And I was in entrepreneurship school, and I started a class project where you basically form a team and pitch an idea. And the idea was essentially a tokenized peer-to-peer marketplace for folks with extra homes. So I ended up doing this whole project, and I actually found out about Bitcoin, which was pretty much the extent of what folks in my circle were talking about after the fact.
Okay, so you really hadn't even really heard of Bitcoin as a blockchain.
No, I hadn't.
Got it.
I
Cool.
was pretty deep in my books at that point in my life.
Cool. Where were you at school?
I went to UC Santa Barbara.
Cool.
I decided to put that project on a hold when I graduated. I went up to San Francisco to meet with a few folks that were doing projects that I was excited about. I had spent a few years in Silicon Valley doing internships while I was in school. And I ended up getting a ride to an interview, and I got in a Lyft with this big old pink fuzzy mustache. And as soon as I got in the car and realized what I was getting myself into, somebody actually ordered the Lyft for me, my older brother at the time. And I realized how brilliant that was. And I got really excited about that. So I ended up reaching out to Lyft, and I was one of the early employees there and had an awesome opportunity to build their ambassador program.
Wait. So your brother. But by the way, what happened to the mustaches? I haven't seen them in years. Are they just gone?
I mean, a lot of them, it was funny. As soon as the photos came in of a hard winter that we had during pretty much our first year with over 1 million rides, winter and pink fuzzy mustaches don't go well together. So as soon as we started getting feedback from DC and Chicago and other East Coast markets, we were like, okay, let's do something else.
That's funny. Okay, so this is crazy. So your brother orders you a Lyft. You hadn't even really heard of it. You get in in the Lyft, and then you suddenly wait. How did you? What was the kind of transition from like getting the ride and getting the job there?
I ended up just going on LinkedIn. I'm a self-professed LinkedIn slut, so I went on and I found a few people that were connected with a few folks at Lyft, and I got a warm referral, as I do with most things I'm trying to get in the business world. I got a warm referral, did an interview, and I found out 3 weeks later that I'd gotten the job. They were in pretty scrappy startup mode at that point in time, dealing with bigger issues. So I had to wait that one out. I was very passionate about it, and I had to really wait it out. And even after waiting it out, earned my keep there. It took a while to get a stake of that company.
So what was your experience there? I mean, like that's kind of a cool, good opportunity, I would imagine.
It was a tremendous opportunity. I really had to bury the whole, earnings over opportunity concept. I really wanted an opportunity to grow and see an amazing idea evolve and come into maturity. I mean, I went into 4 different offices there within a year and a half. So it was a rapidly growing organization. I saw it from really, being in San Francisco all the way to being in 65 cities across the country. So as you can imagine, a team with less than 100 quickly growing to 600 within a year.
Got it. Okay, so you're looking at Lyft. You still have this idea from college, and the idea is kind of gestating there. And then so what happens next?
So I left Lyft in 2000, or maybe 3 years ago or something, and I decided to start a passion project. I had, seen the company evolve to a point where I felt like I had gotten the brunt of that experience, and it was time for me to experience something new. And I decided to do a passion project. So I moved to LA, and I decided to get into food, urban farming, and education, because I think that ultimately is what is going to change the world, is changing, reforming education and teaching the youth about how we can grow our own food and what the connection between us and our food is. So I worked with an organization here in Our Foods, the founder, David Rosenstein. I teamed up with him and we designed a 2-foot by 4-foot indoor aquaponic farm that went into the classrooms of 8 downtown high schools in LA. We got a grant from Boeing and we co-wrote a curriculum at USC.
Cool.
And we designed the farms, installed them. That was kind of a nerdy passion project. I ended up doing consulting with a number of companies, from startups to larger companies like Airbnb. And I was architecting ambassador programs, which are essentially decentralized marketing programs. So think affiliate marketing, but in the physical world. That whole rabbit hole, it went from consulting to me co-founding a company that ended up raising a couple $1 million. And the office is still here in Venice, or just south of me where I'm working now. And we continue to build these performance-based decentralized marketing programs. And I realized that the scalable solution and the solution that felt right to me ideologically speaking, in regards to food and education, was Tribecoin. And that's really like what brought me to what I'm doing now is one part seeking more purpose in my workflow and choosing to surround myself with companies that are pushing and advocating the same future that I believe in, and being incredibly bullish on the way that cryptocurrency can transform decentralized marketing programs, or ambassador programs, evangelist programs is what I call them now.
Okay, I'm gonna back up. So, performance-based decentralized marketing. What would be another word for that, or what would I know that as commonly?
So I could give you an example in the context of the new world that I'm creating or the old world that I had created. So like
start with
the Lyft Ambassador program. Okay, let's do the Lyft Ambassador program. So this was the first of its kind. I pitched Travis Vanderzand and the new CEO of Bird, this amazing new startup that is just exploding all over the country, on a decentralized performance-based marketing program. And basically what that meant was we're going to hire people all across the country, and we're going to give them the ability to create their own unique promo codes that unlocks a discount in the Lyft app,
okay.
$25 ride credit. And when those promo codes get used, it unlocks a commission. So essentially what we did was created a decentralized marketing and sales team, or business development team as well. So we partnered with bars and clubs and restaurants, and we sponsored events. Folks went street teaming with promo cards. We had coasters at almost every bar in all of our big cities. So that's essentially what the ambassador program model looks like. That's largely the model that I followed through with.
So every customer can become part of the marketing / sales and promotion of that product.
Exactly.
So what happened?
The tribe.
So for folks that don't know Bird, I lived in Venice. I just moved over to the other side of LA. But I guess when I moved in back in November of last year, there started to be these little scooters that would just show up all over the place, literally in front of your door, on the corner. And these scooters are called Birds. It's the brand. And tell me if you agree, man. But Venice and Santa Monica seems to really embrace this whole concept, because you use an app, you pick up any scooter anywhere, you ride it faster than a bicycle, and drop it wherever you end up, and it's super convenient. Right? I mean, would you say Venice and Santa Monica kind of really enjoyed Birds?
Absolutely. It's blown up like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. I actually spoke to Travis when he was launching it. I was like, oh man, I don't know how receptive people will be to this, but man, they are receptive.
Well, what's hilarious though is the rest of our team that I work with is all in San Francisco, and there's this culture war where San Francisco hates these things, because they get left in the way, and it's the litmus test in my view of the difference in culture in LA and San Francisco right now. Anyway, so Birds are hugely popular. So you pitched this idea to the founder of bringing this decentralized performance-based marketing program. Which okay, so pick it up there.
Yeah, so Travis was, to give you context, he was the chief operating officer of Lyft at the time. So I was pitching him and the CMO, Adam Fishman.
Okay.
And I was looking at the numbers that they were spending online on Facebook and Google, and I was saying, you guys, look, I used to pay kids in my neighborhood $5 a lead for a free house painting estimate for, the house painting business when I was in my teens. We can pay people $10 commissions to give away free money for something they're guaranteed to use. And they were a little hesitant at first, but I convinced them. They essentially gave me a $1 million budget to run with, and I ran with it. And within 12 months, we were outperforming all of the online channels combined.
Okay, so you actually ran that program. I mean, this is like where if I was in San Francisco, if I went into like a convenience store, I'd see a little card there with a little number for Lyft, and it'd be like, my discount if I invite a friend. Was that part of your program?
Yeah, that was my program. That was my vision. That
Cool.
was my blood, sweat, and tears.
Let me ask you, I've always been kind of curious, like ever since like Amazon came out years ago and, they kind of had an affiliate thing set up. I'm curious in the psychology of this. You must have like researched this a lot. There's some people who are all about affiliate programs. And then there's some people who have like a major resistance to it, where as soon as you say like, hey, I'm going to get, $10 and you'll get $10 if you sign up for this, there's an aversion that certain groups of people have to the salesiness of it. And I'm curious, how do you work that into the model? Do you try to like bring them on board, or do you kind of like work into the formula like a certain number of people will just never be down with that?
Totally. I mean, it really depends on the product. So if you're promoting something that has high utility in the sense that I use this already on my day-to-day, and this is a discounted version of what I'm already going to spend money on, and I might as well try it because it'll probably be better than what I'm using. People are pretty receptive to it on the supply and the demand side. But what I'm finding more and more is that as even ambassador programs or affiliate programs have proliferated, people are becoming overwhelmingly sensitive to solicitation. So authenticity is kind of the key word of our new generation. And I think that speaks largely to marketing these days. People don't trust companies anymore, and they almost don't trust their friends anymore. So users or the consumers of that content or that message, they want to feel like they're consuming something authentic. And when a promo code or a referral link is involved, it underlines the authenticity or the integrity of that message. So that's actually something I've really held central to the DNA of my new project.
Perfect. So yeah, let's jump into Tribecoin. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I could give you a little bit of context from old world into new world, what cryptocurrency, what the role was there, and then I can kind of dive a little bit deeper. I'll give you the high ideological vision first. Is I call it an evangelist cooperative. It's essentially where evangelists for products, services can tell their community about those products, create Instagram stories with them. They earn Tribecoin, and they purchase products in our marketplace. So in one part, we're actually like an influencer incubator. We take regular content creators and turn them into influencers. We sell products, so we're like an e-commerce company, and we facilitate payments. So we're kind of in the gig economy space as well. Now, zooming out, what I've learned from building ambassador programs for a couple dozen companies is that the least expensive and the most authentic and the highest quality ambassadors are customers.
Yeah.
And the way that our current economic engine is organized requires companies to turn their customers into employees if they are to collaborate with them in some sort of economic exchange beyond like a refer your friend feature that's native to the mobile app. So what I wanted to do is, this is really what brought me back into cryptocurrency, is wanting to explore a different economic engine in which value exchange could actually take place. And by doing so, I would be able to unlock the ability for companies to collaborate with their customers in new ways. And I think that this is the future of our ambassador programs. I think this is the future of affiliate marketing. So that's really what initially brought me into the space.
So let me see if I get that first part. So essentially, what I'm hearing you say is that these models typically look at their customers as, potential to market and sell their product. And what you're saying is like, that's like the first layer of potential, and the customers can really provide a lot more value back to the company than just, promoting.
Exactly. Yeah. And they already have the emails, they already have the numbers, they're already paying for the product. So they already have it at their house ready to go. They already understand the product. They buy it, so they surely like it. That's really the biggest unlock here is enabling companies to switch the way that they define an energetic exchange is what I call it, so that they can actually collaborate with their customers and not be required to essentially go through all this unpalatable paperwork that deems them employees. It's just companies just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess on another note, I'll get back into this whole authenticity component. I wanted to step away from promo codes and referral links. I think for the users or the supply and the demand side of that whole marketplace, it's growing. It's ever increasingly unpopular, and people feel like sellouts if they're pushing promo codes and pushing links. Everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just inauthentic. So what I wanted to do was create a way to enable companies to introduce themselves in a way that is much more palatable and enjoyable for the consumer of the content or the recipient of the message. And to me, that's storytelling. That's marketing. It's basically enabling people to help that company tell their story in a way that a digital ad is just not capable of, and the way that a promo code is not capable of either. So essentially, we reward people for creating Instagram stories that teach their following about their favorite products.
So you're not using referral links or, like tracking like that. What are you doing to how do you measure the impact?
For now, I have a lot of hurdles to overcome with brands that have been trained by institutional, marketing, universities. So the first one is crypto. Obviously, I've got to get people's heads wrapped around the whole customer and micro influencer thing. So I would like to move towards a CPE model, a cost per engagement model. But for now, it's just too many wraparounds for the head for these folks. So we use CPM. So it's basically the cost of 1,000 impressions.
Okay.
And assuming that the impressions that we're making are much more valuable than a digital ad would be.
It's really interesting. Like, I think you're definitely onto a really good area where, there is that resistance to, like authenticity is so important, and there's a resistance to kind of feeling marketing and salesy. How do you do you just address the authenticity with transparency, or how do you address that?
Well, I guess for now, at least for the sake of building a critical mass, there are two things that we're doing. One, we're focusing on education and choosing brands that give us a sense of ideological coherence. So we're focusing on health and wellness brands. So really what folks are promoting is a lifestyle, and it's empowerment, and it's community. So we're able to really stick to this good feeling of, hey, I'm doing this and I have purpose and I'm helping the world change. And what they're doing is they're educating their community about ways that they can improve their lives through health and wellness. So we're choosing a lot of brands that I think are really leading the charge and are transformational brands that have the ability to really change the way that we think about our bodies, that we understand our bodies, that we use our bodies. So for now, I guess for the sake of building a critical mass, we are sticking to that because it feels good and it feels right, and it's so core to the human experience is food. That's what brings everyone together. So I guess, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Talk us through how somebody would engage right now with your products, and then let's get into a little bit of the crypto conversation.
Sure. So I'll give you some context with our first client ever. It's a company called Sunbasket. It's a direct-to-consumer meal kit service. And we are doing a campaign for their vegan meal offering. I guess as far as ideological coherency, there is no tribe that is louder or prouder than the vegan community. So we essentially, a content creator joins the tribe, and they complete a very simple boomerang on Instagram just to show us that, hey, I'm willing to film myself. I'm playful. I ideologically align with your mission. And by doing that, they earn $100 worth of Tribecoin. They take that Tribecoin to our marketplace and they purchase 8 vegan meals. And those vegan meals are delivered straight to their doorstep. And they complete missions to tell the story of their experience as a customer of Sunbasket. So everything from opening the box and showing people, showcasing the amazing vegan organic ingredients inside of that box, the actual experience cooking and sharing that food with their friends, teaching people about one of the ingredients in the box, upcycling the materials in the box and teaching people how to upcycle materials and be conscious consumers. So there are 7 different missions that people can complete. And when they complete it, they unlock a bounty. So similar to these bounty programs that we've seen really successfully in the crypto world until, as of recent, they essentially complete these missions and earn bounties. And the missions are storytelling. They're just basically teaching people about how they're experiencing that product.
Awesome. Okay. That helps illustrate everything I'm hearing so far. Tell me if I'm wrong, but like, I can imagine this, this is like the cliche question, but like, to me, this sounds like so far it could be built on, a database, but like, why are you doing, blockchain, and kind of how far along are you with that?
Yeah, totally. So I guess the reason why is the defining the value exchange. So we're essentially switching the paperwork that a company would be required to give to their customers if they wanted to exchange energy with them or pay them, if you will. So we're switching that from like a W-9 and a 1099 to a Schedule D. So it's really shifting the burden to the end user. So it's actually not making that classification of employer-employee.
Like if you're trying to figure out why it's in the blockchain, or like, help me figure that part out.
Right. So the payments are made with cryptocurrency. So if payments are made with fiat, the brand that is paying them is required to put them on a different set of paperwork. They would not need to send them a W-9 or a 1099 if they were paying them with cryptocurrency and they were using that cryptocurrency to purchase products in our marketplace.
Wow, I didn't know that. Is this common knowledge? I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Like many things in this world, it's there is ambiguity entrenched in a lot of assumptions that we make. I would say that of the gray areas that we operate in, that one is the most gray. And I've consulted with some of the best lawyers in the country, and sometimes I hear yes, sometimes I hear no.
Yeah.
But right now we are building a critical mass on the side chain of a company called Simple Token, OST. And really the goal there is we don't want to ICO with this ambiguity. We need to find out exactly what the rules are so that we can stay compliant. I'm ideologically driven. I think that making money is great because I like to eat sushi and drink beer. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure I don't end up in trouble. This is to fulfill an ideological vision, and I think that the money is a byproduct of that. But I don't want to go do a money grab ICO before I know exactly what the rules are. And right now, we're slow to learn that because we're not being told what is okay and what is not.
Yeah, I definitely I'm intrigued, man. I like the concept of using cryptocurrency to smooth over paperwork or like cut bureaucracy. That's cool. Okay, keep going.
Right. And I guess the second one is like micro influencer programs are not a new thing. People have been trying this for a long time, or not that long. I guess one thing that's changed is Instagram has absolutely blown up. Instagram stories, to me, seems to be the short form video distribution channel that is here to stay. So that has changed. So, as far as timing, that's right. But I think that the real game changer is that one challenge that companies have, and this is a core piece to our marketplace, is that if they want to collaborate with an influencer or a content creator that is not their customer, they're pretty much required to send them that product for free. So not only do they have to have an operations associate find the influencer, get their address, send them the product, make sure that they post, and then pay them, they have to basically assume or hope that that person isn't just going to take that product and walk away.
Yeah.
Which in my experience running influencer programs, it happens. And sometimes those products are $500 products. So really what I'm trying to do is create an escrow service that guarantees that companies with products that are a little bit more expensive can essentially collateralize those products, put them in a smart contract, make sure that the deliverable is fulfilled. And if it's not fulfilled, they take the money that's in escrow to cover the cost of that product. And when the deliverable is fulfilled, they can unlock that money in escrow and complete the payment on top of it.
Okay, awesome. And so people that want to try this out, I went this morning and signed up. Tell folks what they do if they want to plug in and get involved with you.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching campaigns with 5 or 6 companies coming in July. Right now, we're in integration phase. So Simple Token has launched a very rudimentary API. They update their API on May 17th. That's in less than a week from now. So I'm flying to Puerto Rico to meet with my developer to play with the new API. And, really we're at the mercy of a rapidly evolving technological infrastructure. Fortunately, it's rapidly evolving. Unfortunately, I can't build it. I'm waiting on somebody else to build it. And that comes, I'm mitigating risk. I think that partnering with Simple Token and building our program on their sidechain will not only mitigate risk, but it'll enable us to build a critical mass, a proof of concept where we can prove that users are willing to accept cryptocurrency and use that cryptocurrency to purchase products in a marketplace, and that we have brands that we can run. So really, we're using it as a way to get the launch pad for a successful ICO about 12 months from now, 8 to 12 months from now, depending on how quickly I fundraise over the next few months. So I'm just starting to transition into that mode, which will which would obviously accelerate our trajectory there.
Awesome. So you mentioned earlier, just in the crypto space, how there's so many gray areas. It's difficult to get a concrete idea of which direction to take at times. How did you personally separate the signal from the noise in terms of what websites or links do you kind of like keep track of, or who do you follow on Twitter, or just in general, how do you keep yourself informed?
I would say that the best way is really just going to where the knowledge is. I think that there's so much FUD and there's so much false information on the internet. If you stay shoulder to shoulder with the folks that are leading the way, whether that's going to these conferences that are held semi-regularly, and just finding the people who know. Who's going to be there for the most part. If somebody's speaking about legal matters, they're going to be there for a couple of days, and they're usually pretty receptive to answer your questions.
Well said. We're going to wrap it up. If there's anything else you want to add, I'm actually curious if you want to share a little bit about Puerto Rico. I mean, I've just heard what's been online of the whole sort of community that's been growing there in the crypto reality. But it sounds like you've got a developer there and you've been going there. If you want to share a little bit about that, or just anything else in the space before we wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about Puerto Rico. It was mostly a business trip. I ended up running into some pretty amazing innovators in the space while I was there, and I think that what is really incredible is just how much resource and how much innovation and how much creativity has really come there. It seems like Brock Pierce is really kind of the figurehead for this creative new engine within this community, and his moral compass and his ideology, I think, are instrumental to creating this amazing, beautiful new world. And he's really putting in a lot of work to build community and steer it in the right direction. And obviously, that's a really hard task, especially with so much change. But I think that was my favorite thing, is just seeing the buzz and feeling the buzz, and everyone is talking about change and everyone is talking about innovation. And fortunately, it seemed like everyone is mindful of things that we sometimes don't think about, like neoliberalism and neocolonialism. People are aware of this. I think that as humans, it's hard to prevent that from happening as a byproduct of just being who we are. But it seems like that whole vision is being led in the right direction to me. And obviously, I haven't lived there yet, so I'm excited to watch the evolution. I'm planning a trip back there for Restart next week. So I'm excited to continue exploring what that rabbit hole has in store for me. Final point is in regards to launching our campaigns. We're launching campaigns in July. So if anybody wanted to be a part of it, you just go to tribecoin.com, TRIBE coin.com, and you click join the tribe and you log in with Facebook, and we'll let you know when the campaigns are launching.
Check out tribecoin.com. Joshua, thank you so much for being on Color and Crypto. I appreciate your time.
Gabriel, I appreciate what you do for the community, and have a wonderful Friday and enjoy your weekend, my man.
You too. Take care, man. Talk to you soon.
Coloring Crypto.